Stand by. The program will begin soon. I don't know why I'm talking about this. During World War II, we sent 90 million pounds of spam just to the Russians alone. I mean, we sent it all over the world. Our troops, especially in the Pacific Theater, ate it. That was basically what they ate all the time. 90 million pounds to the Russians. Apparently in like the 50s, Nikita Khrushchev said, you know, if they hadn't sent us all this spam, they might not have been able to feed their troops during World War II. So a little weird canned kind of ham pork product, canned meat, may have won World War II. And the Fed is trending on X. I wasn't sure why, and I'm still not 100% sure why, although part of it is because of this building that they're renovating. They're supposed to be renovating one of the buildings at the Fed, right? And the other day, Donald Trump came out there with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about how the renovation of the building was kind of a little bit over budget, okay? First of all, listen, the numbers on this are crazy. They wanted $2.something billion to renovate a building at the Fed. $2.1 billion. Well, this is $2.5 billion, but they're over budget by over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing? If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not the weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was... Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, you know, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what he means. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning or on the right. Is there anybody in this that you, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in a church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 in the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see what that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. She warned these are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable, unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're going to do. I can't believe. I just dumbfounded that they're doing. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to New York Police Department data. And Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 reported hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terror supporter, has proposed that the New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has his political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Every day on my show, if I put something on the screen, or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawg Knight.
All right. Let's get this show on the road. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. And today, I got a question for you. And I opened up a Q&A already because I found this interesting post on the app formerly known as Twitter, X, and talking about what they think when they say they are MAGA conservative, what they mean. And I want to go through that and see if this comports with what you think it means, what I think it means, even though I've never described myself as MAGA, so to speak. I've always been obviously MAGA adjacent just because I tend to believe that the most of the policies that they espouse I agree with and I would vote for it. And it's not about the guy at the top. He's kind of just the vessel because, I'm skeptical about Trump. I've always been skeptical about Trump for my entire life. So it's not Trump, it's the policies. And so I'm curious as what you guys think and maybe put in your 2 cents about that. And so we'll go through that. And why are you asking a question in my Q&A? Do what now? I said, what are some things that define MAGA for you? The question in the Q&A is, what are some things that define MAGA conservative? And just you're answering. I'm asking the question, you guys are answering. Okay? And if if you want to wait until we go through some of the things that this guy put on this list, then we'll do that. Well, that's fine. Do that. So anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get it going because I want to get it going. First in the chat today, who was the first? It must have been Kara Soldier, I think. Yeah, it's Kara Soldier. What up, Kara Soldier? You get the bell. Yeah. Well, is anybody going to cheer for Kara Soldier? Oh, now you hear me. Way to go. Stupid studio audience. Well, by the way, today the coffee's brought to you by me. This is the cup. My daughter did this a long time ago. She made a likeness of me and put it on a cup and then put PDawg Knight on the back in my own personal PDawg Knight cup. I'm never going to sell them because you don't want that face looking out your cupboard in the morning. But anyway, also good morning, Avocados Diablo is here, of course, and Renee Matt, what up? Mike Savage, Blurg, Midnight, and Ms. Wild Wolf, the tag team duo from my state of Minnesota. Also good morning, Sheer You Gospel. Let's see, Johnny Boomer Tech, Blue Eyed Scream, and JB's in the house. What up, Jay Blizza? TC, Moist Tree Rat. That old moist word. That I just every time I hear that word, I don't know. It's just a weird word. There's a whole story behind that. But anyway, also good morning to my other favorite Canadian, Unacceptable Views is in the house. Also good morning, Cashapp. What up, Kirsten? How you doing? And is that it? Is everybody Attack Alpaca's here? What up? How you doing? And that's about that's just scrolling down. That's everyone who's decided to show their face. So there you go. I understand the branding of MAGA, but I have always thought that America was great, to be honest. Should have immigrated years ago legally. Oh, are you here illegally? Nah, I'm just kidding. No. Anyway, also thanks to people who have shared the stream, which did I share the stream? Yes, I did. I did do that. Let's check the old notifications here. And I'm sure I'll get some snarky comments to the name of the show today. But that's okay. Let's see who's here. Oh, recent what? Oh, recent news from ABC News. Jack Schlossberg, the grandson of former President John F. Kennedy, has announced he would run for Congress in 2026. Well, there you go. The royal family of the United States, Kennedys, has another kid running for Congress. Yippee! I can't. Oh, I'm so fired up. Yay. Anyway, thanks to people sharing the show. That includes Somnambul Nation, always with the quick hosting of the show, and also Miss Wildwolf doing the same every day. Love it. Also, thank you to TC, aka the Moist Tree Rat. Moist Tree Rat. Reposting all these, and people also here. Renee Mayette dropped the little "Let's Go" in a GIF with Donald Trump and the shiny special ET thumb thing going there. Boogie Down to Monday. Let's go. Important to place more than 2 O's in "Let's Go." Otherwise, it's "Let's Goo." And that's just nasty. Yes, you are right, Somnambule Nation. But yeah, with the dancing fat kid. That's awesome. Also, thank you, Reaction in Puerto Rico, Somnambule Nation. Ms. Wild Wolf, Kashel, and Sure You Gospel reposted my post of the show. Also, Reaction in Puerto Rico, letting us know who is gay. And okay, and then we got Ms. Wild Wolf with the little let's go. Did you make that, or is that just one that you found on the internet? Anyway, that's pretty cute too, with the alien looking, Silver Surfer looking dude, although not as studly as the Silver Surfer. Okay, thanks everyone for sharing the show, greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about good Lord, I did not even do what I was meant to do. I didn't even check the holidays. Is there a holiday today? Let's find out. I was just going to get right into the personalities. Let's check out the holidays. Today is Kiss Your Girlfriend Day. Did you know that? Kiss Your Girlfriend Day. Don't miss the chance to pucker up and show your girlfriend some love. Kiss your girlfriend today. Okay. I don't have a girlfriend. I have a beautiful wife who I love dearly. And if I went and kissed a girlfriend, I might be in a little trouble. But the rest of you, if you has a girlfriend, go kiss your girlfriend. It's International Students Day. It's National Hiking Day. I love a good hike through a nice nature-oriented place. There's lots of them here in Minnesota. They're everywhere. There's so many places to hike. There's county parks, there's state parks, there's city parks. There's all kinds of stuff, and a lot of them have like little wood. Because we have so many friggin' lakes. There's always a trail around some lake somewhere nearby. Go take a hike. It's a good day. It's always a good day for a hike. I love hiking in the fall, especially. But I'll hike. We'll go in the summer. We'll go in the winter. I don't care when it is. Anyway, National Homemade Bread Day. Go make some bread. And then it's also, not as only is it National Hiking Day, it's also National Take a Hike Day. So take a hike. Why don't you? Yeah. National Reuben Day. Now, I was hoping that would be the sandwich, because that is one of my favorite sandwiches. And since it was created in the town that I grew up in. But no, that's just if your name is Reuben. There's not a lot of Reubens. The only person I've ever really heard named Reuben was Reuben Kincaid, the manager of the Partridge Family. I'm showing my age. The Pope is here. Good morning, the Pope, Tyrannus III. The Blessed Lich with today's message of hope from not the Father, not the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Yes, the Pope Tyre says, blessings of the Holy Ghost. Today, take it slow. Life moves too fast as it is. You blink and you miss it. But today, I want to enjoy creation in all its beauty. Go fast tomorrow. You know what? I try to do that every weekend. We just try to go and take some time to go see some stuff. Sometimes it's nature, sometimes it's goofy statues, but whatever. Go take the time to look around you and enjoy the beauty, enjoy the precious gift that we've been given, that is this earth, and go enjoy it. Also, good morning, my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies in the house. What up? And Somnambule Nation, which I don't know if I said that before. Oh yeah, Reuben Blades. God, how did I forget Reuben Blades? Okay, great musician. But anyway, yeah, not a whole lot of Reubens out there. So there you go. But yeah, so I guess we'll just, it's Reuben Blades Day. Is he even still alive? I'm not sure. National Baklava Day too. I love me a good, well-made baklava. But have you ever had a bad one? Or an old one, like you're expecting to be all good and shit. It's like rock hard after you get through the light, crusty pastry puff puff pastry on the top. But otherwise, it's pretty good. I like that. And Christchurch Show Day. They're going to be, what? It's Christchurch Show. Embrace the vibrant showcasing of agriculture, livestock, and rural New Zealand culture in this thrilling event. I'm just thrilled. We could see maybe attack alpacas down there. Who knows? So, and then it's National Testosterone Awareness Day. Have your testosterone levels checked if you're planning on doing anything physical and or whatever. I don't know. National Testosterone Awareness Day. Yeah, I don't understand the point behind that. I'm sure there's maybe it's just, something that doctors do. But anyway, so happy holidays to everyone celebrating today of all the special holidays that we get during the this beautiful season of holidays. Now, of course, the other holidays, the real holidays are coming up. Like at least, well, I shouldn't say the real holidays. All holidays are real if you call them a holiday. But yeah, we're coming up on Thanksgiving. I'm excited. This is my favorite. And it's a week from Thursday and I'm not prepared. Holy shit. Wait a minute. When is Thanksgiving a week from Thursday already? Let me look at my calendar here. It seems like it would be, wait, that's not the calendar. That's my, oh my gosh. It is a week from Thursday. And then Black Friday is a week from Friday. I guess I better start cooking. Well, not really. We have to go buy the stuff to cook, but it's too early to buy it. We have Lady Boomer set up the Thanksgiving tables yesterday because she likes to be way ahead of things, and so that's important because we're gonna have like 14 people over this year for Thanksgiving, and I'm a little. Am I stressed about it? Not really. I kind of am though. I don't know why. I usually never get stressed about Thanksgiving, but this year I am. I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's not that important. It isn't that important. All right, thanks. Let's get into the personality section. Jake Paul is trending today. Jake Paul, I don't know what to call him, the YouTube sensation. And they've I guess he's going to have another fight, another boxing match. And I think finally, well, here, someone put this really well. Dana White shared his thought on Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua. Now, Anthony Joshua is a legitimate heavyweight boxer from the UK. I don't know what his record is, but he's a legit heavyweight boxer. It's not going to be this. As long as this fight is not rigged like the Tyson fight, because that Tyson fight was a joke. Okay, none of that was real. Tyson pulled punches constantly. Tyson was biting his gloves so he'd remember not to knock Jake Paul the F out. But this is a real boxer. And Dana White says it. Here, let's hear Dana White's take on this fight, because this one's going to be real. Okay, I think all of those other fights were just exhibition crap nonsense that made a lot of money. That Tyson fight, they made so much money on that garbage of a fight. Now, the undercards were pretty good, but his fight with Tyson was garbage. Complete and utter garbage. Anyway, here's what Dana White thinks about this coming up fight.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No. Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people will watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one.
I think everybody's
going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Jake to get knocked the F out.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being...
That's what they're waiting for. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for him to fight a real fight with somebody who's a boxer and knock the F out. Good morning, by the way, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. Did I already say that? I'm and Blue Eyed Screams here. I think you were here earlier, though. I always forget who I say hi to because I just get them babbling away. So he's going to fight this guy, a legit heavyweight. Joshua, I didn't even say his last name. I don't even know his last name. His last name is Anthony Joshua. Okay. We are in an effing world that one of the best British heavyweights of our lifetime is fighting Jake Paul, all because Theo Baker and Joe Weller had a scrap. I have no idea what that means, but everyone is going to watch. Here's what the first seconds of the fight are going to look like. Right here. Yeah, that's what everyone's hoping for. Everyone wants to see Jake Paul get knocked the F out and shut the F up. Does anyone disagree with that? Anyone? Okay, if you agree that you would like to see Jake Paul get knocked the F out in any time during that fight, put a 1 in the chat. Or if you think Jake Paul has an actual chance of winning an actual fight against a professional boxer who is not going to frig the fight, put a 0. I'm pretty much sure everyone wants to see Jake Paul get knocked the F out. Let's move on. Also in the news, this is good. This is good. I want to get to the MAGA stuff here in a second, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on news. But this is interesting. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey has appointed now it's important that black is an adjective in this one, because why, I don't know why, has appointed a black transgender activist, Giselle Bird, to the Women's Commission. Governor Healey has appointed a man to the Women's Commission. It's the world we live in. It's the world we live in right now. Governor Maura Healey appointed Giselle Bird, the first black transgender woman, to lead a major U.S. theater company. Who cares? As executive director of the Theater Offensive. What? To the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women. She's going to be on the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women. In August. What? Oh, this happened in August? Okay, why is it just coming out now? The 19-member commission, established in 1998, advises on policies to advance opportunities for women and girls of all gender identities. What? Now look, it doesn't mean, I suppose it doesn't, I suppose men could be on the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women, right? I mean, okay, so the appointment, which includes Bird as vice chair of the Programming and Planning Commission, has drawn conservative criticism on X for challenging biological women's representation, while supporters view it as aligning with the state's inclusive policies on transgender rights. Hi, Evan S. So this came out from Libs of TikTok. Unreal, Massachusetts governor, blah, 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 appointed a man pretending to be a woman to the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women, which advises on policy to improve opportunities for women. You cannot make this up. You don't have to make it up. They do it. Now, and then Scott Wiener, that dickhead from California, state senator. You're so thirsty for engagement, you don't care if your bigotry incites violence against people. Libs of TikTok is a straight up hate group. For the record, that outfit is amazing, as is the woman wearing it. Scott Wiener can kiss. No, don't even come near my ass. I don't want you to touch me. But anyway, shut the F up. Oh, if your bigotry incites violence against people, it doesn't. It just incites mockery. And that's pretty much all. Other people talking about this, Eric Doherty, same thing. The body's entire function is a craft policy for women in the state. That's a dude, mental illness. Yeah. Now, a bunch of conservatives are ones who are talking about this. There's Scott Wiener again, complaining. Why does Maura Healey, women, that's more with TikTok. Women are not good enough ever. Keep supporting this and we will be entirely erased. Your be kind is our be gone. So, whoa, wait a minute. So that picture is in Giselle's best light. This is not necessarily in Giselle's best light. Describe Giselle Bird, the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women's latest member, in 5 words or less. It's ma'am. It's ma'am. So anyway, yeah, that was one of the top news things that popped up when I opened up X today. Also, Chicago Public Schools is in the news because apparently Chicago Public Schools has been spending money on a lot of shit that has nothing to do with Chicago Public Schools. So someone here wrote, breaking, Chicago Public Schools has infuriated parents after being caught spending millions of dollars on luxurious travel worldwide despite horrendous performance from students. Principal booked a Vegas suite, Hawaii professional trip, 15 staff trips abroad, yet over 43% of teachers have been absent for 10 or more days. 58% of the students are not proficient in reading. 73% of the students are not proficient in math.
Principal booked $400 night.
Here. Let's. Here's the. This is apparently the report on Fox News. Is this what is this? Wait, what happened here? Where's the
Principal booked $400 night Vegas suite for a conference at a different hotel that started 2 days after his arrival and ended after he left. Teachers took a 4,707-day trip to Hawaii for a 4-day professional development.
They took a professional development. Development on your melanin
seminar. You could have zoomed it, by the way. 15 staff trips to Finland, Estonia, Egypt, and South Africa for professional developmental and school visits. So not only do your results suck, but you're out there traveling around.
Damn, Brian,
the country.
tell us what you feel.
Because you feel
tell us what you feel, Brian. Not only do your results suck.
Because the teachers union put the mayor in office and put the governor in office, so you can go and do these exotic trips, and then you could just put the kids in cargo.
Meanwhile, at the same time, going against the charter schools that want to do a better job, that have shown the results, you're seeing these kids go to four-year universities on scholarship, the same poor kids that they said that could not be educated because of their background. And then we can't get kids to even attend school, but it's no wonder, because if you look at the teachers, they're doing the same thing. 43% of the teachers in Chicago public school lost 10 or more.
You know what's wild? And thank you, Ms. Wildwolf, who says, and this is a prime example of why I pulled Midnight out of the main brick and mortar. She has excelled with us. Thank you, PDawgKnight, for your part. Well, I'm not teaching her anything. She's just learning how to maybe form an opinion, and maybe hopefully this helps you become more rounded in opinion. Just being more aware of the world, and don't limit yourself to me. And I'm pretty sure I'm sure you don't, Midnight, but I say take in a wide array of opinions and just think for yourself. You know, you'll figure it out. But I can barely remember when I was growing up, because I really miss school, but I also rarely remember teachers missing school. The only time I remember a teacher missing school is I had one teacher in second grade who went on maternity leave. So she missed the last 3 weeks of school because she just couldn't continue through the rest of the year. But I hardly ever remember, substitute teachers were so rare. If I saw a substitute teacher, make 10 times total, like all through elementary school that I remember. So I just don't know or if they did miss school, it was for some important thing, not just because. Anyway, let's see what the rest of this says. Oh, my mouse is messed up there. There we go.
Is for the 24-25 school year. So the kids aren't showing up to school, and the teachers aren't either.
That's just crazy.
That's sad.
That's like half of teachers missing 10 days of school. And I also think, too, about how short the school year is and how short it feels. There's so many days off. But the report cards speak for what's happening there. The 20.
I don't miss work anywhere. Can you imagine? You had 10 absences from work in a year. I don't know. That just seems weird to me. But that's a whole different. That's got to be a generational thing. Because I don't get it. I don't get people who miss work. And I know that there are lots of other people who do miss work more than 10 times a year. But anyway, so a lot of people talking about this this report on Fox. There was also, I can't remember if it was the Teachers Union in Chicago, or it's not the National Education Association. Oh my gosh, listen to this. Listen to this. Here's the full report. Breaking: Chicago public schools spent over $7 million on luxurious travel for teachers and principals. And that's including trips to Egypt, Finland, Hawaii, resorts, even went on a safari. More than 90% of the traveling expenses employees went over the allowable limit. Excuse me. So lots of people pushing out the same report. Here is some people don't believe me when I said Chicago public schools are horrible. Turned away my sons who have autism, led me to homeschool, and eventually led to us moving to Indiana. Teachers are always on strike for more money. Chicago's a travesty. So $7.7 million on travel for teachers. And look, you know that Hawaii 4 days for development. Again, either someone was developing their sand moving skills, so to speak, or luau attention skills. I don't know, but that's messed up. All right, let's move on. Also in my news feed today, Thomas Matthew Crooks is in the news. The young fella that they say took a nick out of Donald Trump's ear. There is, let's see, warrants. Someone says this warrant's okay. What's here? A lot of people talking about this. There's some new news. This warrant, let's see. Elon Musk and Joe Rogan are pointing out some major inconsistency with Trump's assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, discussed the possibility that was staged up for political gain. Did they do that? Now, a lot of people on the left have been saying that. But that's not the news about Thomas Crooks. Here's the news. New claims tie Trump shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks to transgender and furry online profiles. We already knew that. The actual news is that there is somebody that this dude was conversing with, and there was at some point, like when he was young, he was like all into Trump and MAGA, whatever. And around 2020, he all of a sudden just went the complete opposite direction and was very angry with Trump and very angry with conservatives, and was talking online about, well, when you say ass and ass twice and then I Nation, he was talking about that online a lot, right? And there was some guy that all of a sudden, started conversing with him, and then his online profile just went dark. And this is in 2020, okay? But he became very anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, anti-right. And then, so there's a bunch of new stuff there. But anyway, apparently newly uncovered accounts tied to Trump rally shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks reveals transgender ideology, furry fetish content, and ties to a retired FBI agent. According to the New York Post, let's see. Thomas Crooks went by they, them on DeviantArt. So is this all distraction to the fact that they really finished that well, I don't know if they finished the investigation, but they sure cremated him quick. I don't know what's going on with that, but he's in the news again. So there you go. That's the update on that. And then also, speaking of Trump, now there's been all this hubbub about the Epstein files, right? The Democrats are really mad. They're starting to put out some emails, and now the Republicans put out a bunch of emails. Well, apparently now the president himself, there's two things going on. One, he's asked Pam Bondi to investigate any Democrats' role with Jeffrey Epstein. And there's a bombshell thing that happened that I'll get to in a minute. Bombshell! But now Donald Trump is saying he wants Republicans to release the Epstein files when they vote on this in a couple days. President Donald Trump endorsed the Epstein File Transparency Act on Sunday, calling on House Republicans to vote for its passage to compel the Department of Justice to disclose unredacted documents from Jeffrey Epstein's secretary investigation. This marks a reversal from earlier characterization of the effort as a Democrat hoax. And look, not the when he said hoax, he didn't mean that Jeffrey Epstein is whatever you call it. It was a hoax, but just that the Democrats were saying, oh, now all of a sudden Democrats want it released. And he's saying that's just some bullshit, right? But anyway, so he wants Republicans to vote for that. Cattard saying the Epstein files will be released soon, and it'll be the biggest backfire on the Democratic Party in history. The Panic Democrats talking point has been released. Trump and Pam Bondi have altered the Epstein files. Oh, so they're saying that's. I'm just curious. Couldn't he? I mean, again, he wants to go ahead and let the Republicans vote on that. And is there a current investigation that they can't release everything anyway? Again, me personally, I don't give a shit about the Epstein files, okay? Whether they're released or they're not released or whatever. Don't care. I don't care about the files. I want to see arrests, perp walks, people who were involved, the people that were I mean, whether there's a client list or not, we know for a fact that there were clients. I want them arrested, and I don't care who it is. If there's evidence, I'm sure all the videos and stuff that they took from the island and New Mexico and New York and all that stuff, I still think it was a giant blackmail operation that may involved our own intelligence agencies, possibly, or intelligence agencies of allies to us. It could be. I don't know. I don't care. Perp walks, handcuffs, find them, arrest them, and start prosecuting them. And I guarantee there's evidence somewhere for some of these people. And plenty of testimony from victims. Because there's a lot of victims in this. That's what I want. I don't care about the files. The files would be just an added bonus. Okay? So, let's move on. So Trump tells House Republicans to release the Epstein files, huge development in this long-running scandal. And now all the MAGA people are all now, the MAGA people who only parrot Trump are all saying, no, it should be, now they're all saying they should be released. It's so weird how that went back and forth. I have a feeling somebody close to Trump probably he didn't want them in trouble. I don't think Trump, look, they had something where some of the stuff that was released was talking about how Jeffrey Epstein was saying that Trump was a horrible person. Now, and the Democrats are just jumping for joy that, oh my God, even Jeffrey Epstein says Trump's a horrible person. Wait a minute. First of all, you're going to take Jeffrey Epstein versus Donald Trump and say Jeffrey Epstein says Donald Trump's a horrible person. You're going to tout that? Really? Is that the Epstein versus Trump you're going to promote because Epstein says something you like? I know why Jeffrey Epstein probably thinks Donald Trump's a horrible person. And maybe y'all didn't think about it when you jumped for joy when Jeffrey Epstein said that. My guess is because Donald Trump was the one person who was cooperating with the victims' lawyers. Remember when the victims' lawyers all said Donald Trump's the only one who came in and told us everything he knew and blah, 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 because he didn't know that much, whatever. That's probably why Jeffrey Epstein was saying Donald Trump is a horrible person, because he's mad that he got thrown to the curb after that little Mar-a-Lago incident. Now, so here's the New York Post talking about it. Trump says House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files in stunning reversal. Nothing to hide. President Donald Trump said on Sunday, House Republicans should vote, blah, 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 related to blah, 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 after previously trying to dissuade the GOP from backing a measure that would force that outcome. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by the radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party. That's Trump's actual quote on Truth Social. So they're voting tomorrow on this, apparently, and then we'll see if it passes the Senate, whatever. Don't care about the files. I want to see perp walks. But in a stunning revelation, apparently, do they call her Congresswoman? I don't know what they call her. This, the representative from the U.S. Virgin Islands apparently was taking text messages from Jeffrey Epstein back when he was still alive during a House hearing. This Democrat newly released records from Jeffrey Epstein estate exposed exchanged text messages with Democratic Virgin Island delegate Stacey Plaskett during a high-profile 2019 testimony, and that Epstein's real-time comments may have shaped some of her questioning. The messages, part of a November release of a large batch of emails and documents by the House Oversight Committee, show Epstein closely following former Trump attorney Michael Cohen's February 2019 appearance before the congressional body. Although the lawmaker's name is blacked out in the documents, timestamps, context, and alignment with live footage reviewed by the Washington Post indicate the recipient was Plaskett, a member of the panel questioning Cohen that day. This is the Washington Post. Okay, this is just all in text. During the 2019 hearing where Michael Cohen testified, Jeffrey Epstein was texting with Delegate Stacey Plaskett. The Post reviewed multiple video feeds from the hearing and matched the texts which were sent in Pacific time.
This was when Barack Obama was president of the United States.
And
while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend, Mr. Meadows,
she's up here texting with Jeffrey Epstein during this hearing.
You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Question.
Message quick. I'm up next. Is that an acronym?
Were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was
this is
your
the text
idea
from
for the
Epstein.
campaign dating back to
That's
2011.
his assistant.
Is that accurate? Yes or no?
Yes.
You can see it at the bottom here.
Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So, Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Uh-huh. You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is the Mr. Trump's executive assssistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
So she's asking the same question she got a text about. And a text, good work. Oh my God. So, this is wild. This is wild. In another exchange, after Cohen mentioned longtime Trump aide Rona Graff, Epstein alerted her, highlighting Cohen brought up Rona, keep the secrets. Plaskett responded, Rona, quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym? Okay, that's the part we just saw. So, oh my gosh, the plot thickens. The plot thickens. It's crazy. Other news, let's see, what was this? Obama Administration Council strategized with Jeffrey Epstein about becoming Attorney General. Epstein's lawyer was Obama's pick for the top law enforcement official. Epstein's emails backfired badly on Democrats. They'd be backfiring harder if the media and elements of the woke right flooding social media with attacks on Trump and MAGA would stop covering up what was really going on. Catherine Rumler's story is especially explosive. Catherine Rumler was Obama's White House counsel. The media conveniently keeps her as the Goldman Sachs lawyer, which is what she is now, but that's like calling former Attorney General Eric Holder a Covington and Burlington lawyer, but most crucially, Rumler was being considered for the Attorney General position to replace Eric Holder. And the emails show Rumler, who's named as Epstein's backup executor in his will and may have been acting as his lawyer at some point, was strategizing with Epstein about whether she should take the job. Wow. This means an Epstein associate and possibly his lawyer was Obama's pick for Attorney General, and a step away from becoming the top law enforcement official in the country. The question that too many keep losing sight of is who was protecting Epstein, keeping him off the sex offender list, and covering up for him. Democrats keep trying to tie Epstein to Trump, but the emails again confirm that Trump and Epstein hated each other. Yeah. So, again, why would Epstein think Trump is a horrible person? Oh, could it be because Trump kicked him to the curb and helped the prosecution against him? Crazy. Hello, Selected Boy. Good morning.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Let's get to the main topic. Oh, Pam Bondi's trending too because of, all the lefties are mad at her because they're saying that Donald Trump is only backing the Republicans' bill on the investigation because he's already ordered Pam Bondi to investigate further, and then you wouldn't be able to release any files on an ongoing investigation. We'll see how that goes. In fact, this is the Liam Neeson. He's not Liam Neeson, but anyway, horseshit. He's banking on the fact that the DOJ cannot release the files because of the new investigation he just ordered Pam Bondi to open. Again, so all the lefties are bitching about Pam Bondi. I wanted to talk about this today, though. This is what I want to talk about. And then we're going to spend the rest of the show mostly on this. There's some articles open and whatnot, but I'm not getting too much into them. Ace of Spades blog aggregator is featured in the links today, as always. But let's go to this post because I know I talk about, I say I'm not MAGA per se, but I'm MAGA adjacent. But this is a person who put a post on X, and I don't know how much engagement it has gotten, not a whole lot, but I was curious about it. And I want to go through some of the comments on this post. This is someone who calls himself Hillbilly James Who, and he says, just to clear the air. Could it be that the administration delayed to release to make sure any assets still on the field could be extracted? You know what? Again, the way that Donald Trump suddenly didn't want to talk about this, the way Bondi and all these people didn't want to talk about it all of a sudden, would point to the idea that there's somebody who's much more dangerous to all of them that is saying, you better not fucking release those files. You got a little clip in your ear earlier this year. That could happen again with more accuracy. And I'm sure there's threats. I mean, every one of them, when they talked about it, especially Pam Bondi, every time she talked about it, and maybe it's just her natural affect, but she seems scared to even talk about it. And could it be, as you said, bringing assets extracted from the field? This has intelligence op written all over it, blackmail op, and Trump was just lucky that he said, fuck you, Jeffrey Epstein, back in whatever year it was, 2007, 2008, because that shit would have hit the fan. But the idea that Jeffrey Epstein's or Donald Trump's mentioned in the Epstein files, well, no shit, he's mentioned the Epstein files. He was a friend. There's no secret that they were friends at one point. There's no secret that he kicked him to the curb. There's no secret that when Epstein was prosecuted the first time, Donald Trump was the only prominent person who cooperated in that investigation. And I'm pretty sure they hated each other from that point on. And so, yeah, the idea, because really the emails that they released, there didn't really seem to be anything in them that said Trump did something other than what we already knew. We already knew that he'd been around Virginia, Jeffrey, whatever. And she's already made public statements that Donald Trump didn't do anything. We already knew that there were times in the early 2000s when he went on Jeffrey Epstein's plane because his plane was down and Jeffrey loaned him a plane. 7 times, never to the island. Always to New York, and always with his family on the passenger manifest. So he wasn't diddling any kids on the passenger manifest. Also, I I keep hearing everyone talk about the word pedophile, and there's that is definitionally a problem, but I understand why people use it. Isn't it pederast the correct term on these? I don't know if there's any, and I don't know. I haven't paid attention to everything about it. I didn't recall that there's any young children involved in this, but whatever. That's just a semantics thing. Let's go to this though. This is what I want to talk about. And if you have questions or answers, I don't want questions in the Q&A. I want answers. My as I go through this, in the Q&A section, I ask the question: what are some things that define the term MAGA conservative? But I want to go through this list for you. If you want to add some things, add them in the Q&A section today. This person named Hilly says, just to clear the air, I am a MAGA conservative, but that doesn't mean what a lot of you apparently think it does. Let's break it down, because I'm tired of being told what I believe and what I stand for. Spoiler, not every conservative is the same, true. But most of us know I share these same principles, okay? So then it's got a list of 10 things here. So let's go through them. Number 1, I believe America should never depend on another country for energy protection or basic supply and demand. We are the strongest when we build, produce, and protect things right here in the USA. You know what? I think that's a strong statement. And that's, especially when people say America first, doesn't mean we don't ever get anything from other places. But should we depend on other places for energy, security, basic supply and demand? Probably not. We should be as self-sufficient as possible, but if we want some, cheap plastic, toys from China, I don't care. But the shit we need to survive as a nation, we should get at least from this continent. Number 2, I believe America must put itself first. We cannot pour from an empty cup. Our country should prioritize our own people before trying to save the world. Big fat ding there. And that, to me, is, from now on, I'm going to call this airplane theory. This is airplane theory. And I say this all the time, but this is my favorite theory of what I mean of America first. If you're on an airplane and the cabin loses pressure, you put on your own mask first, and then you go take care of other people. Plane's going down, you put on your own mask first, because if the plane's going down, kiss your ass goodbye. But if the plane loses cabin pressure, you put your own mask on first, then you go help other people. I'm doing a little, what's the villain in the Batman movie that talks like this? I never should talk like this. Anyway, anyone disagree with that? Not one mention of armadillos. He is not a MAGA conservative. That's funny. Oh, AD, you're killing me. Okay, number 3. I believe America should stay out of endless foreign conflicts. We are not the world's sugar daddy, and we shouldn't act like it. I think as far as foreign conflicts, I agree. There's the issue of the shared responsibility of keeping the world navigable is a question. Why are we the ones to ensure that? And we need to have more people. And I think the step up of NATO would be a big deal, as far as keeping trade routes manageable and things like that. But the idea that we're in foreign wars all the time, or meddling in foreign wars, or worrying about foreign wars, and I guess we have to manage anything that might be spillover, but I don't necessarily disagree with that. Number 4, I believe no foreign aid should be given until every veteran at his home is taken care of. Now okay, in principle, that sounds fan-fucking-tastic. And I think we are a little heavy on the foreign aid thing is certainly a controversial topic. But I would love to hear what a definition of until every veteran is at home is taken care of. Now, I agree with it, and we should be helping our veterans. But what is, how do we, there are veterans out there, maybe out in the streets and drug addicts, whatever. What are we doing to take care of them? I mean, what does that mean? What is taking care of? Yes, that Sound Noble Nation said the same thing. Taking care of needs to be defined. Because we have resources for our veterans. Are we doing a good job of making sure veterans are able to seek and receive those resources that they get? You know what I mean? It's a two-way street. Handing out more money is hardly conservative. True, that's true. Nope, cut out all government handouts even to vets. Now that's interesting. Can we give vets pensions though? Is that a handout or is that an obligation? They get paid while they are in the military. Once they are done, they are on their own. So no pensions, nothing? I'm curious. That's interesting. Fight amongst yourselves, because I'm going to keep going through these, and then we'll get more deep into these if we can, how much time we can. Number 5, I believe immigrants make America stronger when they come legally. If your first act in this country is breaking the law, you are not an upstanding citizen. Well, if your first act of entering the country is breaking the law, then you are not a citizen. You're an illegal alien. And I know that Brandon Johnson hates that term, illegal alien. He's like, oh, is that some sci-fi thing? He's a dumbass saying that shit. Immigrants make America stronger when they come legally. They can. Are we not developing talent at home? And there's a lot of people who just saw that Chicago public schools thing where 58% of the students aren't proficient in reading, 72 are not proficient in math. Are we shooting ourselves in the foot, head, and the ass by not educating our own stock of people? There's plenty of talented people here. Now, granted, because, there's a big argument about the HB1 visas right now. Donald Trump likes them, but some people are saying, wait a minute, we got too many of them already. 600,000 Chinese students in the United States. Look, if we had a very selective process of illegal immigration, that was, if you can't bring something to the table, we don't need you here right now because we have our own shit to deal with. And I've always been a fan of the idea that, hey, wait a minute. In order to immigrate here legally, you should have at least 10 years where you're not eligible for any government assistance whatsoever. You better have your shit together when you come here and be contributing to the country. And also, you got to want to become a citizen. You can't immigrate here if you don't really want to be part of the system. Because we got too many people who immigrate here who want to change America to what they think it should be. It's like, go fuck yourself. Look, Dearborn, Michigan, is going to be a test pilot, a pilot program for some of the shit that we really don't want to happen. It's funny. I always laugh too. So these the people who always come in the Handmaid's Tale outfits. They're always coming in those stupid red robes with the white hats and shit. You realize there's already a Handmaid's Tale scenario going on in some of our cities in America, right? I'm just saying. Let's see in the chat. We're going overboard on that one. Let's see. Pension after 20 years of service, if I remember correctly. They get paid while they're in the military. Once they are done, they're on their own. Canada proved they still have high ties to Britain during the trucker rally. Pensions are earned. Pensions after 20 years of service, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they are getting illegal IDs. Oh, yeah, we know that. We're going to be going over. Which one are we going overboard on? Blue Ice Scream? The legal immigration? Possibly. But we need to, the other part, though, you know what? If we can develop talent at home, that would even make America even stronger. And we wouldn't have to have as much illegal immigration. But then I think legal immigration needs to be highly vetted. And it has to be for a purpose. It can't just be that's something that we absolutely need. And we should have a bias towards hiring from home. So anyway, number 6. Let's go to number 6. And this is this person's belief about MAGA. Number 6, you can marry who you want. I may not agree with your lifestyle, but your life is not mine to judge. I leave that to God Almighty. That being said, I am a Christian and suggest everyone read and follow God's word. I guess I have a bit of a libertarian view on marriage. I don't care. I don't care who you marry. I'm not living your life. If you're not bringing your life into my house, I don't care. Marriage in my brain and in my heart is between a man and a woman because that's what the purpose of marriage came from. The idea of marriage has always been to help with family units, but I also don't give a shit if two people want to live their life together and say that they are married, and I will honor their choices of what they want to do because they're not. It has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? So I've always thought the government should never have been involved in marriage anyway. It's just a way for them to tax you on something. They're gonna tax you to get married, and then you might get a tiny little spiff as far as if you file jointly when you get your taxes out. It's just it's a contractual thing that the government forces you to do so they can take more money from you. I don't give a shit about marriage at all. And also the idea that this person is not even suggesting the government. So again, he said he leaves that to God Almighty. I'm a Christian, so just everyone read and follow God's words, but not the government doesn't do that. And he's not suggesting that the government do that. That's just his belief. So fine. Okay, cool. No, on second part of number 6, no established religion. He's not suggesting that either. He's just saying that's his belief, but he's not suggesting the government do it. I agree. I have Christian beliefs. I don't think the government has anything to do with it. And just like I don't think anything the government. My marriage with Lady Boomer, whether the government endorses it or not, I endorse it. I live my life. The government doesn't live my life. So there you go. Number 7 says, I believe men are men and women are women. Surgery or hormones don't change that. Men should use men's bathrooms and women should use women's bathrooms. Now, that's 100% true. There's no, it's counterintuitive to pretend otherwise that they're not. And just because you feel like you can alter a definition in your brain doesn't alter it in reality. It's one of those contentious issues that I don't know why we even have to be talking about. Hello, Jonathan Peterson. Hey, what's up? Good to see you back. I haven't seen you in a while. I don't think it's important. I guess if certain places want to say, okay, we're going to accommodate people by having a separate bathroom for the people who have no idea what they are, or to pretend they're something else. But we can't force that on people who want nothing to do with it, particularly women in women's spaces. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. Period. There is no reality in which a person who thinks that their gender is different than their physical reality, that they can force themselves into another situation. You can't. It's just not. It's not practical. So there you go. It's dumbfounding. Here's the other half of that for me as personally, and I'm agreeing with most of everything this guy's saying so far. I don't see how that makes him MAGA. There's got to be something else that makes him a MAGA conservative, that defines the MAGA. Because right now, this is just beliefs that someone has, and whether that you consider someone being a MAGA conservative because of these beliefs or not, I don't know if that matters so much. But I think he's onto something here as far as, very similar beliefs to mine. Now, if some adult decides, if some Billy in his adult years decides that he wants to be Billie Eilish, okay, I don't give a fuck. I don't expect me to play along if I don't want to play along. You can have your fantasy and live your life and be away from me or be whatever you want to be, but don't demand that I play along with your delusion or your fetish or whatever the fuck you call it. But go live your life. I don't care. You're allowed to do it. But do not try to impose that or allow that on a child who has no idea what life is yet. Leave the kids a fuck alone. That's my thoughts. All right, number 8. I believe schools are for education, not indoctrination. Kids should learn math, history, reading, and science, not political propaganda. They should not be taught they were born in the wrong body or pushed into gender delusion. This one's a challenging one in that often history is indoctrination, depending on how you teach it. Because if you're making value judgments on history, then it can be indoctrination. If you're making, if you're just using history as a reference for what happened and what was, what we believe is bad and good, even that's slightly indoctrination. Look, reading, math, and science, as long as you're teaching the reading, math, and science part of it and not the ideologies that are being pushed into them, those are not, they're not indoctrination. But also political propaganda. Well, it's kind of, again, history is always taught somewhat as political propaganda. We just got to decide as a nation, well, what's important? I don't think we need to be flogging ourselves for everything that happened in this nation. You can talk about bad things that happen without flogging yourself, because right now, guess what? The history of America for a child actually starts the day they're born, and you can make decisions based on things that happened in the past, but you're not part of it. And I think one of the things that drives me insane about the reparations and slavery debate is that it doesn't matter who you blaming that institution on a skin color seems to be unfair, because a vast majority of the people who are of that skin color had nothing to do with it, or neither did their ancestors. So you're saying, oh, well, all of this particular group was people who were enslaving people, but there are very specific people that did it. And the vast majority of Americans have no relation to any of those people. But you're blaming them for that. And also, it's an institution that's been throughout history and focusing just on, again, like I said a few weeks ago, when people say that slavery is America's original sin, no, it's America's very unoriginal sin. And in fact, the vast majority of the slave trade in the world did not come through America. It went through, even the transatlantic slave trade, only about 10% of it came into America, the United States. The vast majority of it went South America, Brazil, up through the other the islands and everything. And there was revolts or whatever throughout history. But, and again, the transatlantic slave history is dwarfed by the sub-Saharan trans-Saharan slave industry by leaps and bounds. The Barbary pirates and the Arab slave trade was far more, not only far more extensive, but also far more brutal. They would just castrate all the men when they slaved. They'd replenish and castrate all the men. They were enslaving people from across the Sahara, through Europe, through all over the world. So it's pretty brutal. It was very brutal. Anyway, it's America's unoriginal sin. And guess what? Less than 100 years after we became a country, we banned it. We got rid of it. You know, those same people that get blamed for slavery, that same demographic that gets blamed for slavery, is also the same demographic that ended slavery. So I have a hard time reconciling the idea that, oh, well, since 400 years of slavery. Wait a minute. No, we didn't become a country until 200 years in, and then we ended it within the first 100 years. And there's been some shitty things that happened since then, but again, so what? Same people who you say they're the ones who started it, also the people who ended it. And in fact, the colonies, when we were becoming a country, and they were coming with that first constitution, 11 of the 13 colonies wanted to ban it when we became a nation. Now we didn't, because everything that in that first pact of becoming a country, all 13 colonies had to vote on it. And 2 of the colonies said no. Georgia and South Carolina said that, no, we're not banning slavery right now. we're gonna keep our slavery right now. And but so it was kept legal, but only temporarily. It lasted another 80 years, 70 years, 1879, 70 years, lasted another 70, 75 years. And within 2 generations, 1.5, 2 generations, we abolished slavery as a country, our country. Now, before it was, you can blame the king, you can blame England, we were a colony. We weren't the United States of America. The United States of America ended slavery within a year, within 100 years. So anyway, I don't know how I got off of that. Let's do the last couple and we're going to get out of here. Somebody says, I believe, that's schools, that's 8. Number 9. I believe America is in a mental health crisis. Mental health care is real, it matters, and it desperately needs to be addressed. Yeah, we're creating a mental health crisis in children, but we're also, we're the people, like a vast majority of the homeless people have mental health issues that we need to address. I don't know how, and I don't even know what the suggestion for the mental health crisis is. But we have one, and part of it is the indoctrination in schools. But that's a whole nother story. And then finally, his 10th point here, I believe guns aren't the problem. People are. Oof. Guns control only infringes on constitutional rights, but I also believe in common sense. Background checks are necessary to keep firearms out of the hand of the mentally ill. In theory, that's a tough one, but I'm not going to give up one right. I don't think we need to give up one right to fix problems. Like, for example, the shooting in the school. Why aren't we protecting schools more with, okay, fine, let's have armed guards instead of, extra donuts in the teacher's lounge, or or all those trips to wherever in the world that those Chicago teachers went for their professional development. Fuck that shit. All right. And then he finally finishes off, I'm a conservative because I believe in faith, family, freedom, and the personal responsibility. I don't want a government that controls every aspect of our lives. I want a government that protects our rights, secures our borders, defends our freedoms, and then gets out of the way. We are strongest when Americans can take care of America first, when families are supported, when our veterans are honored, and when our children are given truth, not propaganda. I love this country, and I believe it's worth fighting for. Now, something interesting here is some of the responses. Now this person says, I'm with you. So I asked, why is the U.S. still giving foreign aid to 180 countries? It's a good question, but whatever. Now this person, though, got mad about one of the points. You want to give our job and our country to Indians. Got it. Full stop and muted, because the immigrants make America stronger when they come legally. Didn't say how many legally, who legally, where they're from legally. And I guess I've already addressed that. We need to develop talent from home, but at least immigration should be highly vetted. And we certainly need to stop the illegal immigration. We don't need more low-end workers. We can create our own of those too. Some of this stuff is stupid. MAGA isn't left. MAGA isn't right. MAGA is liberty, freedom, and greatness. Okay. Someone says, again, another one, agree on all points except for number 6. Just like saying trans women are real women is an insult to real women, saying gay marriage is real marriage is an insult to heterosexual marriages everywhere. Marriage has a meaning, and gay marriage makes a mockery of it. Again, but I don't give a shit. Look, gay marriage should not be a government issue anyway. Marriage should not be a government issue. I don't give a fuck if Bob wants to live with Mike for the rest of his life. I don't give a shit. And in my mind, that's not a marriage in my definition of marriage. But if they define it as marriage and I'm friends with Bob, I'm not going to care that he's, sticking it to Mike on occasion. I don't give a shit. It doesn't affect me at all. I mean, I'm not, and in my brain, I'm going to be like, well, it's not what I think of a marriage should be. But Bob's not trying to screw me. I don't care. So, whatever. The guy didn't read the whole thing. No, I don't think so. But you call yourself MAGA, which means you align with Trump. Trump has no ideals or principles. He's a wife-cheating, grifting, lying, globally embarrassing, convicted felon. I don't take issue with being a conservative. I take issue for what that red hat stands for. Well, fuck you. No one asked you, bitch. By the way, I bet she can't tell you what the felony is. By the way, the felony never got. Didn't do the sentencing. So is he technically a convicted felon anyway? And when that shit's appealed, they won't be a convicted felon. It'll be like he never was one. It says we are not a cult like the Democrats. We are allowed to disagree with one another, for the most part. Except Trump doesn't like it when you disagree with him. His little spat with Marjorie Taylor Greene right now is killing me. I'm laughing at the whole thing, just at both of them a little bit. MAGA has been hijacked by populism. Maybe you should stop labeling yourself that and say you're America first. We get what you're saying, but explaining it must be exhausting. If you're MAGA, you support and agree with all things Trump. He is MAGA. Oh, I don't know. Is that why I don't call myself MAGA? I don't know. Let's look at the Q&A section here real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. When I asked, what are some things you would define MAGA that define MAGA conservative? Kara Soldier says common sense, actual acceptance of people you can disagree with within the same party and not shun or harass others. That's a good one. I like that. AD, I'm not even going to read these ones where you're messing with me. BMI, body mass index, stop it. Ms. Wildwolf, the hard love for our country's constitutional rights. I think that's true, but I don't think it's exclusive of MAGA, but I think it is. I would hope that people who describe themselves as MAGA think that way. I think that a lot of people on the left believe that they have a hard love for our country's constitutional rights, but then they start saying stupid shit. But so there you go. Avocados Diablo, only having 2 DUIs. Again, I shouldn't even be reading yours. Avocados Diablo, you believe we should build a force of trained armadillos to take out threats to our nation. Yeah, that wouldn't. You got me there. I mean, if that would work, that would be pretty awesome. You just want to make sure that they're trained really well and don't turn on the trainers, because then they'd be fucked. Ms. Wildwolf, not part of the question, but the youngest is 11 for the Cree. Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, you were over in the comment. You were trying to do comments and you were in the wrong section. And then the last one, Avocados Diablo, you have never bought 2 sheets of acid from a guy in silkscreen printed trips are for kids tricks rabbit shirt in the parking lot of a Grateful Dead show. Yes, you're right. That would be, you would be MAGA if you have never done that. Selected Boy adds one final one that I'm gonna call this a quits. He says it's defined as bringing our country back to self-sufficiency and not to be taken advantage of by other countries, to be honest. I think that's an important one. I think that's where, I know Trump kind of goes a little bit overboard on that, but the idea that we are being taken advantage of, particularly the fact that we are the world's protector. And I think that NATO definitely needs to step up and be a partner instead of a protected one. You know what I mean? So, and I think, if that can create more cooperation in the world and that cooperation spreads, that would be great. So, Avocados Diablo, I am the only one who understood the assignment. All right. Okay. So there you go. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Go to the aggregator. There's a lot of good stuff in the aggregator. I don't open every article, but as you go through this, for example, the U.S. has deported the illegal alien who Milwaukee judge Hannah Dugan tried to help evade arrest. Remember, she distracted the agents and then snuck this guy out the back door. She should be arrested, by the way, I think, for aiding and abetting a fugitive, but whatever. So that illegal alien has been deported. Democrat Judge Monica McIver is going to stand trial for assaulting ICE agents at an ICE facility. A federal judge ruled Thursday that New Jersey Democrat Representative LaMonica McIver must face trial for assaulting a federal law enforcement officer outside an immigration detention center facility in New York. She attacked the ICE agent, and she's going to end up going to, the judge said, you are the biggest loser. Anyway, or though you are not, what is it? What does that say? You are the weakest link. Anyway, she's going to trial, and if she goes to trial and gets convicted, she should be ejected from Congress with a giant catapult. Also, in Daily Wire, rooting out fraud, Trump administration to make food stamp recipients reapply for benefits. Now, that could be a little bit hectic, but they're preparing to implement a sweeping, controversial overhaul of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as food stamps, by making everyone reapply. I wonder if they should do that with like people who are obviously eligible, elderly and whatnot. But you know what? There's a lot of fraud going on in there, and maybe they'll root out some. We'll see how that goes. But you can read about it in the Daily Wire, in the article. This will be in the links. House GOP wants to repeal measure in shutdown bill by allowing senators to sue the government. So they, when they they finally opened the government, and then the House voted on it. They're going to open the government, and the Senate slipped in that little bit where some of the senators who were investigated by Jack Smith in a very questionably and possibly illegal manner could sue up and get up to $500,000 in compensation. The House wants to repeal that now because they were getting criticized for it, and want to repeal that now. They should probably repeal that and let the senators, if they really want to go to court, they can go to court on their own and see if they can get that done. I'm just saying. So I did see that, Ms. Wildwood, that you added me as a friend in Discord. And then the other one I opened up here, apparently U.S. spy agencies had ties to Wuhan scientists years before the 2020 COVID pandemic began. Oh, shocker! Shocker! Oh my gosh! I'm stunned that the intelligence agencies had a tie to the Wuhan, virology lab place that leaked COVID. Are you shocked at all? Anyway, those are some of the articles that are in the aggregator today. I opened those up, and there are plenty more like it. But that's it. I got to go. So I hope you all have a great day. I'm going to drop these links in the chat in just a second here, as soon as this pops up. And I'll be back tomorrow for Rogue Looks Good in a white suit. Yeah, you know what? That's funny. I never thought of calling her Rogue. That's funny. I'm chuckling right now that you called Tulsi Gabbard Rogue. I never yeah. Okay, so there you go. Anyway, here are the links today. Shortly here, copy and paste. I'm just gonna write links. There you go. Boom, bam. There you go. There are the links. I gotta go. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Get funky now.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.